Got my cutter, got my torch. Pour a beverage and I step out on the porch. Grab a cigar, I love that view. I guess it's time for another Poolside Cigar Review.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another weeknight edition of Poolside Cigar Reviews with Kirk. Today I'm coming at you with the Master Blends 3 Torpedo and a dram of Clynelish 14 year. This is a Highland? Yeah, I think this is a coastal Highland. I don't know anything about Clynelish. I bought this a few weeks ago on a whim. I was staying at a hotel with my family, and I didn't want to pay the hotel bar prices for scotch, so I ran out to a liquor store and just bought a bottle of single malt so I could enjoy it, you know, for a night or two and just bring the rest home. It's I don't think I would buy it again. You know, the Clynelish is decent. It's pretty well balanced. It doesn't have really any major characteristics. You know, it doesn't have a ton of peat. It definitely tastes like it was matured in bourbon casks. It's got a good mouthfeel. It's a good, well-rounded whiskey. Got a good mouthfeel. I don't think it was chill filtered. I don't think it had maybe a little bit of caramel coloring in there, but it's kind of a nondescript Highland whiskey. You know, it's got some of that oakiness. It's got a little bit of a cereal grain. You know, it's got some. I think that it's got a little bit of that soapy bourbon type flavor. So, you know, to me, it doesn't. I don't know if maybe it's. I mean, 14 years isn't that old. I don't think it's past its prime at 14. It's almost like a whiskey that's like, I can't complain about it, but it feels like it's missing something. It feels like it wouldn't take that much to really make it something great, but it's just not quite there. So I don't think I'd buy it again, but I'm also not disappointed. You know, it was like a $50 bottle of scotch. It's delivering, you know, so we'll see. Of course, almost everything pairs well with the Master Blends 3. You know, it's, especially when you pair this with scotch, I just feel like it really brings out a lot of the cocoa notes, deep tobacco. I'm a big fan of the Master Blends 3. I've heard a lot of people say that the Master Blends 1 and 2 were way better, that they've gotten progressively worse. I don't know, because I've never had a Master Blends 1 or 2. I would love to get my hands on one. But I can say that these Master Blends 3s age spectacularly. I mean, they're good straight from the store. But, you know, I think the oldest one that I've smoked is probably 2 years, so they don't need decades. But the ones that I've had that are older are much more complex. A lot of sweetness comes out. You know, the earth that's in there kind of gets toned down. It's a fantastic cigar. Many have heard me, you know, go through my Oliva rant plenty of times, but you can't argue with that burn. Great burn, great cigar. So if you've got a bottle of Clynelish 14, pair it with the Master Blends 3. They go great together. Yeah, every cigar I've had with this scotch is paired nicely. This is a good overall pairing scotch. It's got enough flavor to stand up to a big cigar, not so obtrusive that it's going to overpower a mild cigar. You know, it's a good, well-rounded scotch. So, you know, tonight I just kind of wanted to share. I was thinking about this today. Because I had gotten a comment. Love the comments. I got a comment on a video that said, you know, thanks for not being a snobby reviewer who tastes 75 different flavors because they're an expert cigar reviewer. And that kind of got me thinking a little bit. And you know, I don't want to take away from people who name all those flavors. You know, there are a lot of people who will do. I mean, I hear some people who are specific that will say like, oh, this is a toasted cashew with a boysenberry finish, and you know, a little cardamom on the front of the tongue, you know, following like maybe like a sandalwood, maybe like a burned sandalwood, you know. That's pretty specific, but I'm not going to take away from that, because I really do think that if you're attentive, if you really try to build your palate, you can do that, and I fully believe that that's what you're tasting, that's what they're tasting. The reason that I don't do that, again, I don't want to take away from that, because I think there's a place for that. I don't see anything wrong with that, because if that's what they're honestly tasting and they've got a well-developed palate, then more power to them. Way to go. For me, number one, you know, a couple years ago, I think I was headed down that path. I wanted that. You know, I would watch those videos, and I would think, I want to develop a palate like that. And really, it was when I was watching whiskey stuff, Ralphie. And I would watch Ralphie drink whiskey, and oh my goodness, does he, you know, heather honey and lemongrass and sultana and, you know, crazy stuff that he would pull out of this, you know, a stale almond and, you know, Spanish oak tree bark. You know, I liked that. I was impressed by that. I wanted to do that, and I think you can do that. It really takes work. You know, it takes a lot of training. You have to get in your spice cabinet and smell your spices and taste your spices and herbs individually. You've got to develop a palate like that. You don't just think critically when you're smoking cigars or drinking scotch. You do it all day long, no matter what you're eating and drinking, you're constantly thinking about it. And you know, I ended up hitting a point where it was like I kind of got burned down on it, and I just didn't care enough to go down that road. And there's a couple reasons. One, it takes a lot of work, and I don't want to sit here and think on this cigar all night. That's now some people do, and I think that's good for them. However you enjoy your cigars, I just say keep enjoying them. But for me, I don't want to be that cerebral all the time. You know, I just like to let a cigar be a cigar sometimes. You know, and anymore most of the time. So, you know, when I smoke a cigar, when I review a cigar, I don't dig that deep. You know, I've got a standard flavor wheel of flavors that I kind of go through a checklist in my mind that I think most people can identify with. Because that's the other thing too, is if you've got the best palate in the world, let's just say that there was a way to objectively measure palate quality and your ability to pick flavors. If you're the best taster in the world and you're able to pull all these flavors and pick it all out and work, you know, do whatever, who's your audience at that point, you know, because if nobody else can pull those flavors or quite figure it out, I mean, yeah, you can, a lot of times it does help, you know, if you're trying to put your finger on a flavor and someone says, hey, maybe it's chocolate. Oh yeah, it is chocolate. I guess, but for the most part, I think if your reviews are that technical, I mean, you know, who really eats boysenberries? I have boysenberry yogurt from time to time, but does it really taste like boysenberry? I don't know. Or boysenberry syrup in my pancakes? They're all full of sugar and everything else, so maybe I'm going off on a tangent, but I guess the point is, these overly technical reviews, to me, well, they are interesting, and it's fun to hear those flavors, and except keep doing them if that's what you like. But to me, it kind of loses some of its usefulness. You know, to me, the big ones are going to be like your coffee, your earth, your cocoa, your leather, your hay, grass type notes. You know, and then there's like, you know, is it sweet? Is it savory? Is it salty? You know, those kinds of things. I think most people can identify with that stuff. And not to say that I haven't pulled some weird flavors out. I really have. I had a cigar. What was it? The Gonzo. Was it the Gonzo Santeria? Is that from Epicure? Gonzo Santeria. I want to say I got buttered popcorn out of that. You know, and that was specific. And so the only time that I pull a specific flavor is when I really get that. You know, I got like a buttered popcorn out of that cigar, which is weird, and maybe nobody else got it. But you know, I smoked a couple of those cigars, and you know, the first time I just kind of dismissed it, like, wow, it's really tastes like buttered popcorn. The second time I smoked it, I got buttered popcorn again. So I mentioned it in the review. And let's see what else. One of the Tatuajes I smoked, I said tasted like, had a seafood type sweetness. You know, kind of like a sea scallop or a well-cooked shrimp. High quality fresh shrimp. That's a weird tasting note. So I'll still throw that stuff out there if it's apparent to me. But, you know, generally I keep it pretty general, and not because it's not that I'm trying to make my reviews accessible or trying to be less pretentious. It's just, that's just kind of how, those are the reviews, that's just how I review cigars now. And, you know, as a cigar smoker, the other thing that's really interesting, and you probably noticed in my videos, especially as of late, I'm not really doing much research on the cigars, you know, as far as what tobaccos go into the cigars, you know, where they were rolled, who blended them, things like that. And maybe I'll get back to that eventually, but I've kind of hit the point where I just don't really care. You know, a couple years ago, I really did, and I was really trying to learn about all the different wrappers and binders and the regions and what they taste like from here and there and everywhere. And I think it just became one of those deals where it was just kind of daunting. You know, because if you're going to talk tobacco, you have to think about the seed, you have to think about where it was grown, the method it was grown, the method that it was cured, the method that it was fermented, and then and that's for each type of tobacco. And then you're talking about having a whole blend of different tobaccos with all those variables. And maybe it's because, like, you know, at my work, I'm very quantitative. You know, everything that I do at work is all quantitative. I do a lot of quantitative analysis. And with all those variables, for all those different types of tobaccos, and then the age of the cigar on top of it, and then, you know, as far as all the different variables with the person who's smoking, which would be me, you know, when did I brush my teeth, what did I have to eat, when's the last time I had a cigar, all those things affect what you're tasting. So, because there were so many variables, I felt like the importance of those variables is kind of diluted, at least for me, because I'm not blending cigars. I'm smoking cigars. So, I just quit caring. It for me, it's more like, yeah, I'm sure there's certain wrappers that appeal to me, that I'll be more eager to try a cigar with a certain wrapper. But I just don't care anymore. I just want to know, does it smoke right? Does it burn? Does it have good combustion? Does it have good flavor? Does it have a good price? That's what I really care about, and that's what I try to pass on to you. So I mean, nobody's cigar journey is linear, and no two people's cigar journeys are the same. You know, we're all on our own path. We're all doing our own things, which is just another reason why I really want to encourage everybody who has any type of urge to share their opinion or share their experience to do it, because not only is it nice to share and see what other people are doing, but that, you know, you get influenced by others, you know, and not just of, I want to emulate that, but you also get influenced by, yeah, I see that's not really me. You know, you see somebody doing something that's not really you, and, you know, you can kind of guide yourself along that way by, you know, I know what I don't want to be, or where I don't want to go. So, you know, that's pretty much it. That and the fact that while I really, really love cigars, I just don't take them that seriously. I mean, I'm passionate about smoking good cigars, but not to the point that I'm really going to spend time stressing or, yeah, I don't know. I just want to smoke a good cigar. And if I smoke a good cigar, I want to share it with you. That's pretty much it, you know? And while sharing with you, I let it go out. I barely smoked any of it. That happens. Oh well. But long-winded tonight. So, let me know. Where are you at on your cigar journey? What do you like about cigars? Are you a tobacco nerd? Do you just want a good smoke? Always curious who's out there listening and watching, and what your opinions are. So, comment, like, subscribe. Oh, just lost the ash. I get so much ash on this rug. good cigar. If you haven't had the Master Blends 3, do yourself a favor, give it a try. This Clynelish, take it or leave it. You know, if you get the urge, I don't think it's a mistake to buy a bottle, but you're not missing anything. It's too spectacular. Alright, everybody. I'm going to leave you with that. Like I said, comment, like, subscribe, let me know what's going on. And got a good review coming up this weekend, so check that out. And until next time, everybody, make sure you keep your feet in the pool, a drink in your hand, and a cigar in your mouth. Have a great week.